All right, so welcome to the call. If you're new here, obviously you're as a new Rush Funnels member. Firstly, fantastic to have you on board. There's lots of great content within our quick start videos. If you haven't gone there and gone through those, that's what you're going to really want to get through just to get your account set up. But today's call is really specific to one topic, and it's a topic that is really important and crucial to the success of your online business. And it's personally what I call the fuel to your funnel. Now, it doesn't matter how good the Rush funnel system is, or even how well crafted you may have put together a sales funnel. If you don't have the fuel, and might I say, the right fuel to put in that funnel, literally, that there's nothing that's going to be happening in that funnel. So if you haven't worked it out yet, now that fuel, of course, is your traffic. Now, traffic has always been a hot topic, and it's certainly for a good reason, and that's because it's where your sales and your revenue is going to come from. So what I decided to do is I've reached out to a good friend of mine, and I managed to get him on this call today so that we could discuss just some of those things that you should be doing and perhaps looking for when you're generating that traffic, because he'll tell you in his own words that not all traffic is created equal. So he's a long time veteran in the industry. He's certainly got a wealth of knowledge, and we're going to pick his brains today with certainly hopefully a lot of pearls of wisdom that he's going to share with you today. And his name's Igor Kheifets. So yeah, I just wanted to welcome you today. Thanks for your time, Igor, and welcome to the call.
Thank you, David. It's a pleasure being here and true honor, being able to share like I said, the wisdom, the pearls of knowledge that I acquired through trial and error of being in this industry for 10 years, kind of pretty much just buying traffic from every possible and impossible source, getting some free traffic as well, and just kind of working out what works best and what's the fastest way to get going, which is really I think is the ideal outcome for the call is whoever's listening, if you're brand new, to give you the fastest and the easiest way to start getting those visitors to your funnel.
That's right. Yeah, good points there. Yeah, definitely. Hey, listen, what I thought would be good in the call, some people may know who you are that's already on this call, but some obviously aren't going to know you. So perhaps, look, you've been around in this industry for quite a long time. You could probably share a little bit about your history and how you got to be where you are today and what it is that you personally do.
Sure, I started out in an online MLM. It was a $10 opportunity, $10 a month, and for the first couple of months, I struggled to recruit anyone. It's been a really difficult journey for me because, although I was familiar with computers, like I could send an email, I was playing online video games, primarily shooter games. I even was a part of this little clan. We used to have clan wars, and so when I discovered that you can actually get money from the internet, naturally that was like a big thing. So yeah, but I didn't recognize the fact that besides wanting to get money from the internet, you also needed to know how to get people to your website, which proved to be much harder than I thought. So I started trying different free traffic methods at the time, because at the time I'm just 19 or 18 years old, right? And don't have any money. I didn't even have a job. And I started, social media, started creating MySpace profiles. I remember this was 10 years ago. I started like writing out my story and duplicating that using software. I thought, okay, the more profiles I got on MySpace, the more clicks I'm gonna get, obviously. I mean, that's just a numbers game. But that didn't work at all. Then I tried Twitter, which was just kind of becoming hot at the time. And then I tried Facebook. I created 2 accounts. I maxed them out to 5,000 friends, and still nothing's happening. So I kind of went through all these little free traffic generation tactics. Eventually, I moved into blogging, so I started creating content, and I wrote one unique article every day of a minimum of 500 words. Got my blog to a good page rank 4 out of 10, which for me was quite an accomplishment. Most websites never cross page rank 1, and I was started getting some visitors, but even though I was getting about 120, 170 visitors per day, nobody was buying anything. So
Yeah,
at
right.
that point I was just like, okay, I got to do something I haven't tried. I have to try paid traffic, and so I started testing it a bit, tried some banner ads, tried some cost per view traffic, which is basically a pop-up traffic on certain networks, which was really cheap, but its price pretty much guaranteed the kind of results that I've got, which were, bad. And and so after testing with several $1,000s of money that I didn't have, that I had to put in my dad's credit card, and then worked a really long time to pay it off, I went into email traffic, solo ads, which we're going to be talking about today. And solo ads were the first traffic source that actually started to produce some sales for me. Obviously, my first couple of months in solo ads, I wasn't breaking even, or anywhere close to that, but I've seen the light at the end of the tunnel. Like I've seen actual results. I've seen money coming in, and I spent the next year tweaking, testing, learning, writing copy, improving my offers, working on my email follow-up, like everything in between, everything that has to do with building a sales funnel, which of course you guys don't have to do because you've got one, pretty much ready. And I consider, at that point, I consider myself to be someone who, quote unquote, made it online. And at the time, I figured out. So I figured out the offers and the traffic. And that's really what internet marketing comes down to. Your offers and the visitors you're sent to these offers, together they create conversions, and conversions is money in your pocket. So that's where I had my start.
Oh, very good. Yeah, hey, burning through cash on your dad's credit card, eh? There's plenty of people.
He kept paying for my Aweber account for 2 years. Even after I made money, I just didn't want to change the card. I would just, hey Dad, here's $49, here's $70. The more my list was growing. Eventually, when it got up to, when my Aweber bill got to like $300 something, I was like, okay, Dad, I have to move it to my own card. So
was he saying, "What the heck are you spending all this cash on?" Like,
well, I mean, the interesting part is that my parents still don't get what I do. Like, if you ask them, like, what does your son do? They'll tell you that he makes money online, but they cannot explain to you what the hell am I doing. So they don't know what Aweber is. They don't understand why you need a hosting account. And so it's funny. It's funny, yeah. But they like the money.
Your folks, Yeah, maybe your folks can get together with my folks and talk about the same thing then, hey?
Yeah, exactly.
So you're into solo ads, and solo ads is a fantastic traffic source, as we both know. I just thought I'd give you an opportunity to share a little bit about what is a solo ad, because I'm sure there's people that are going to be listening to the call here today just thinking, okay, well, solo ad, well, what really is that? It's email marketing, but how does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. And the funny part is that if you Google solo ads, you may come across a lot of confusing information, because many people who do solo ads don't do them right, and they start kind of telling you things that aren't even true about them. So a solo ad in its true form is exactly what it sounds as far as the amount of ads you're getting. A solo ad, which is one, right? One ad to someone else's customer database. Now, so it happens that you can do solo ads in pretty much any media. Like, there's some people out there who sell Instagram solo ads, for example. They have 500,000 followers. They can do a shout out, and that is technically considered a solo ad. But the solo ads we're talking about here are not related to social media. These are email marketing solo ads. In other words, if, for example, David, you want to run an ad for a weight loss product. You're selling maybe like a diet plan for women over 40 who need to lose weight quickly for the upcoming high school reunion, right? They need to lose some of that fat. And I happen to have an email list of people who are either interested in losing money, preferably women, of course, for you, or maybe I have a course.
Sorry, you mean they're interested in losing weight, not the money?
That's right. That's right. So if I have a list of women who want to lose weight, or a list of women who purchased like a product from me, maybe a course of mine, or access to a membership site with exercise, again, about losing weight, or maybe even health, right? It could be broader. It doesn't have to be that specific. Then I can, offer you a one-time drop to my list. And there's two ways to go about it. The first way is for you to pay me a flat fee to drop to my entire database. Let's just say my database is 1 million people. and you say, okay, Igor, how much is it to, to have you drop an ad to your entire database? And I say $1,000. So you just pay me, I run the ad. There's no guarantees and no terms. I just run it, and that's it. If you get 1,000 visitors to your website, awesome. You just paid $1 a visitor. If you get 10,000, you just paid 10 cents a visitor. All the better for you. Now, another way to run a solo ad is for you and I to predetermine how many clicks, and the click is an internet term for visitor, right? So if you had a store, an offline store, and somebody walks in, technically, in internet language, that's a click because they, came into your store. So if somebody comes to your website, that means they had to click a link to get there. Now, we may determine, you and I, that I commit to delivering 500 clicks for this upcoming solo ad. In which case, if you're paying still the same $1,000, you're paying, $2 a click, whatever, right? So that's a more predictable way to run a solo ad. And the difference is that the first example I gave you is called an e-sign solo ad. So you can find e-sign owners and you can drop your ad to their database for a flat fee, and many of them actually have their fees listed on their sites. Like if you go to, if you're running some sort of financial offer that teaches people how to better save, how to invest in gold, how to maybe invest in Bitcoin, which is kind of hot right now. So you can go to a website such as Investopedia. It's a pretty big website. They have a large email database, and you can click on one of the links at the footer of the website at the very bottom, and you'll see their pricing for banner ads and for email drops. So one of those email drops is a solo ad. So that's one, e-sign solo ads. And you can have them in any market, really. Like you can be selling chicken coops, and you can find a database related to some, animal lovers. That didn't come out right, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Or farmers, farmers.
Yep,
now,
perfect.
The other type is just called solo ad in its classic sense, because you know upfront how much traffic you're going to get for the money you're paying, right? And that's the kind of solo ads that I primarily deal with, where, the customers who approach us, we tell them, okay, you'd like these many visitors to your website targeted to your offer. That's how much it's going to cost you. You like these many, and that's how, just basically the client gets a package. And so when you're brand new and you still haven't figured out how your ad is going to convert, you still haven't figured out what your opt-in percentage is going to be on your landing page, you still haven't figured out pretty much anything about the business, it's still very confusing, still very overwhelming, and it feels a lot like, I just recently, as you know, I moved to Toronto from Israel, and I had to go through a couple of different processes to get everything under control, like get a driver's license and this and that.
Yeah, sure.
And so I had to get acquainted with a whole new world, and so it felt like it was really overwhelming for the first couple of months. Like I've literally felt like I've had a whole, I don't know, it's like drinking out of a fire hydrant, it just washes you over. So in many ways, the internet marketing space feels the same way when you're brand new and up until about 2 or 3 years into it. It's only then
just
you start kind of
with information.
Yeah, only then after about maybe 2 or 3 years, I felt sort of comfortable and kind of figured out, okay, now I see what's going on. So if you're still at that stage, what matters most is predictability and simplicity, right? So you want to do something that your mind can comprehend and you can see yourself doing, because there's scientific studies that actually prove that a person cannot physically do something that they can't see themselves in their mind doing first. That's why there's so much advice out there about visualizing your success, visualizing your achieving your goal, because unless you can see it in your mind, you can't do it. So that's why in the very beginning, solo ads come as this really just a godsend for many people, including myself at the time, because they're so simple. They don't require any technical knowledge or technical skill set. I mean, they do require a brain. Don't get me wrong. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to make it sound like a silver bullet, but they're very easy compared to all the other traffic sources that are way more technical, that require way more sophisticated tracking processes installed, that require way more selling, that require way more time to quite literally just to set the damn thing up. And if
Yeah.
you're still holding to a day job, chances are you've got very limited time every single day to invest in your business. So you want to maximize it as much as possible.
Yeah, definitely. And I just want to stress on that point. I think when people come online for the first time, and maybe they've even been online for a little time, a little period, um, there's a really sort of grey line to me where what people perceive as being working in their business as opposed to working on their business. And like if you get into business, you'll soon start to find that people start talking about, hey, look, you really need to be building on your business, as in working on it, not just in it all the time. So to me, if you're going to start to learn a new craft and a skill and spend such a large amount of your time trying to learn just a new traffic source, and if it may be, say, weeks or months, to me, that's like working in your business. Like, you're not generating any results from it. It's not an income producing activity straight away here and today, as opposed to something like a solo ad. So how long, if someone's to look at solo ads, how long would they be expecting to go through the process and to start receiving traffic with a solo ad?
Well, it would really depend on a case by case basis, because the one thing we have to understand and recognize about solo ads is the fact that it's not like a Facebook ads or AdWords where there's only one agency that controls everything, right? So with Facebook ads, it's quite literally one person, Mark Zuckerberg, that built a
Yeah.
network and everything rolls within it. Or with Google, it's all about the Google AdWords network. Now with solo ads, these are independent people. So imagine a bunch of people out there spread across the internet who have email lists of potential customers for you who are interested in the things you are selling or you are marketing right now. So if you're marketing make money online programs, there is quite literally tens of thousands of people with a large email list that are willing to give you access to they're willing to quite literally run your ad to their list if you pay them a flat fee or if you pre-agree on some sort of a cost per click. Now, as far as the concept of ordering, right, it's exactly the same. On Facebook, you either pay for impression or a click. On AdWords, you pay for a click, I believe, right? So it's the same. However, the predictability and the ease factor is quite different, because with AdWords, it's if you manage not to get banned from AdWords, because you can't really do make money online on AdWords anymore, as well as Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really don't know how much traffic you're gonna get. You just have to sit there, observe your ads, tweak and hope, and increase budget, decrease budget, etc. With solo ads, up front, like before you even order the damn thing, you already know how many visitors you're gonna get, so you can adjust your budget accordingly. Now, in addition, how much time, and I just realized I deviated from the question, how much time it's gonna take for someone brand new to go from discovering what solo ads are to running one? It could be as fast as several hours from now. If you find a vendor that you trust, that is legit, that has a spot open for today. And there's plenty of these out there. Now, of course, we have to remember that on one hand, the great thing about solo ads is because it's not regulated by one agency, there's no one entity that calls the shots, and therefore, because it's not regulated this way, it's not controlled that way, you can find solo ads, both high quality and low quality, ranging from super high prices to super low prices, and there's lots of flexibility. Like, there's literally many options and much flexibility. However, to the same extent, because it's not regulated, it's also the wild west. So you may run into some shady sellers, you may run into some scammers, and you may end up paying for traffic that doesn't convert, that doesn't even exist sometimes. I mean, I've had it happen to me where I paid around 10,000, I think it was just under $10,000 over a course of 3 months to somebody who was selling me fake traffic. And this guy was so sneaky that he developed a script, a computer script, that would get on my website, find the opt-in form, enter a fake email, go on my sales page, and once it was on my sales page, pretend as if it scrolled down and then just shut off the page within like 2 seconds. So, fortunately for me, I was recording all of my visitors' video behavior with the software, and I was able to see all that. Plus, the screen dimensions were kind of off. Like if you remember the RoboCop movie, and he had this black stripe for the right. So that's how that was the size of the screen that it was recording, and there's no device like that. So I confronted him about it, and I said I'm going to expose him. He offered a full refund, which he did, but he's not selling anymore. Don't worry, like you can't hit him, but there are plenty of people who do similar or same things. So you have to watch out.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So listen, I know there's going to be a number of people on this call that are looking to jump in that big blue sea and just get stuck into things because that's what the entrepreneur does. It's the heart of someone that's just willing to get stuff done. And the question that a lot of people have is it's all that whole risk reversal. They want to make sure that what they're doing is going to work, and of course they don't want to be stung by anyone, and jumping diving in the sea. They don't want to be getting eaten up by like a RoboCop seller, like in your case.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are some of the things that people, I guess, what should they look out for, and maybe some questions they should be asking a seller when they're getting in touch with any solo ad vendors?
Yes, that's a good question. So there are ways for you to pinpoint potential dangers when it comes to choosing the best solid provider, and I came up with a list of 7 questions, and unfortunately, I don't remember all of the questions here. I don't have them in front of me, which I should have, but I will give you as much as I can from my memory. So the first question is, what offers convert best with your list? Now, a good solid provider will not just tell you, well, weight loss offers or Forex offers or whatever. What they're going to do, they're going to tell you that some specifics. So for example, offers that begin with a free trial and then upsell into a $7 membership, and then within 30 days upgrade to a $100 membership, or offers that sell money making systems, which offer solutions to people who have no computer knowledge or experience. And they will be a little bit more specific, and they'll even be able to provide you with a couple of links. So that's a good start, because a fly-by-night solo seller that does not have a real business, somebody who pretends to be a solo seller just to take your money because they recognize there is a huge demand for web traffic, like you said, and every punts scum will climb from under their rock just to sell some to make some quick money. And I mean, you'd be surprised. I had people actually pretending to be me. Like there's a guy down in Thailand or the Philippines who approaches people. He created a Skype ID with my name, and he started approaching people, selling them leads for pretty much every industry. Like he sold them leads for the car business, he sold them leads for some weight loss or Bitcoin, whatever. Like, and I had people hit me up and it's like, hey dude, did you start another profile? Like, are you selling are you selling leads in the Viagra space or something? I'm like, no. And so they showed me these conversations, and obviously I got that guy's or gal's, I don't know really, account shut down. But they sometimes keep trying. So just like Elvis has the lookalikes, or any other artist have the people who pretend to be them and try to make a living that way. Like it happens in the solo space as well. It happened to me. I don't know about other sellers, but definitely happened to me. So if it's a fly-by-night solo seller, they do not have proper knowledge and skill set to be specific about this answer. Now, the other question is that you definitely want to ask, which sounds similar but it's not, is what offers do not convert well with your list. And so a good solo seller will be able to pinpoint exactly which offers do not work. So rather than just saying, well, everything that's not what I just told you, right? It's like I told you what works, and so everything that isn't doesn't. That's not a good answer. But what they will be able to say is perhaps something like, well, what doesn't work is offers that have a front end sale of more than $27, or offers that start their sales pitch with a testimonial without first explaining what the system's about, or maybe it's offers that have the hero in the video sales letter who's really young, like somebody who's under the age of 21 and shows off his big yacht or private jet, or something like that, and not somebody who's over 50 years old and who just looks like a normal person, and on and
Sure.
on and on, right? So they could be specific about the things that don't work because they probably have the experience, and having run some ads for clients, they'll be able to
Yeah.
pinpoint that. Now, they if they cannot pinpoint that stuff, it does not mean that they're bad. It may just mean that they're inexperienced or just started, in which
Yeah.
case it's not too bad, right? I mean, it's just not someone you want to go with first, if you know what I mean. Like maybe it's
Yeah.
somebody you want to test later once you got some experience under your belt. But even then, even if it's someone is brand new to selling solo ads, they are probably not brand new to running offers to their list, which brings us to the next question. Like another question you can ask is, do you promote affiliate offers to your list? So in case you're not familiar with the concept, affiliate marketing is when you grab a link for someone else's product and you promote this link of yours to a potential audience that may buy the product. And if somebody clicks on that link, right, what happens is your affiliate cookie, it's called a cookie. So basically, the computer is now tagged, if you will, with your affiliate ID, and if that person buys the product, you get a commission. Now, in the online world, and this is another thing that I used to do a lot when I just started, there's tons and tons and tons of affiliate marketers. Like anyone with any audience whatsoever, always, without exception, will be doing affiliate marketing because it's just smart. Because to create your own product or service, it takes a long time and a lot of effort, and it's a pain in the ass. And trust me, because I launched about 17 or so products and services of my own over the last 10 years, and I see you nodding there. It's like, right, but that's
Oh, it's a
because you're
long
launching
time, isn't it?
software. Yeah, I mean you're doing a much harder job than I do. I just launch information products and services which are much more flexible, and I can work things out as I go. You're doing software, man. You're like, you have to code that stuff, and you have to work with developers, and you have to go into beta mode and dev mode, and like, yeah, it's a completely different
Sounds
ball
like you're
game, and
pretty
it's,
well versed.
yeah, because we're developing a software right now for ourselves, and it's been a nightmare. We spent over $300,000 on it so far in a year and a half, and pretty much have a team of like 5 people working on it all this time. It's just crazy. My point, guys, is that making money promoting someone else's products often is the smart way to go. And if you have an audience, you probably want to do it for yourself eventually. But going back to the solo ad sellers, if they have a database, if they have an audience, they are most likely doing it. And so you ask them, do you promote affiliate products? And if they do, if they say they do, you want them to show you some of their either income screenshots from affiliate accounts, or maybe shoot some proof of them actually making sales. Or if they can't do that, which is, I don't know, maybe a red flag, maybe not, because you are asking for some private information, so it depends really on how you ask. But at the very least, you want them to tell you which products they've been promoting to their list recently. And by doing so, you will be able to identify whether or not your product is similar in nature to those products. And
Yeah.
this is really important because if you ever heard the phrase, a buyer is a buyer is a buyer, okay? That phrase is true in the following way. Actually, you know what? Let me give you a different example, which goes back to Gary Halbert in the Gary Halbert letter. He was talking about how he's got this client who sells exotic cars. I think old exotic cars. I think it was either Jaguars or something like that. And he mailed the offer to people who already owned at least 2 other exotic cars. And in the letter he explained that it may not make sense to the civilians out there, to do something like that because, well, they already have the cars. But the thing about it is that people who buy something, they buy that something all the damn time. So,
Yeah.
in other words, like, I have an obsession with Apple products. So right now I'm on a MacBook Pro. Yes.
High five.
Yes. So right now I'm doing this on a MacBook Pro, the brand new one that came out last year with the digital screen above the keyboard. Yay for
Oh,
me.
sweet.
Now, back home, I have the one from 5 years ago, from 3 years ago. I have a MacBook Air as well for my wife. My daughter has an iPad. I just bought an iPad last week, an iPad mini. I have my iPhone 7. I did not upgrade to iPhone X. I have three other iPhones somewhere at home. All my parents have my old iPhones, and on and on and on and on. Right? I recruited all my friends into the Apple community, if you will. I made them kind of switch. I'm pretty much an addict. I'm a cult member, if you will. Right? And if you want to sell Apple stuff, sell it to me, because you'll have the easiest job in the world of doing that. So when the solid vendor tells you which products his list is buying, hopefully he can actually prove that, or she can actually prove that, then all you have to make sure is that your offer is very similar to what he or she is promoting. Because if that's the case, you have a much higher chance of selling or more of your stuff.
They're sold on the concept, aren't they? On whatever that concept is. So if they've purchased before, it's only logical that they're going to purchase again something within that same industry. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's the third question you want to ask. Now, another question you want to ask is, did you promote this offer or a very similar offer in the past? Now, this may be sort of similar to the previous one, but it's what we're looking for here is whether or not other people have purchased ads from this person for this particular offer. And if they have, did enough time pass to replenish that database? Is their database big enough? And the way we understand whether or not the database is big enough by asking the following question. We ask, how long does it take for you to deliver X clicks, right? So remember, clicks are visitors, basically. This is what you're buying. This is the actual thing you're buying. So if they, for example, sell you 100 clicks, and you ask them, how long does it take to deliver 100 clicks? And they'll tell you something like a day. So if it takes a day, it means their database is pretty big, because they can deliver 100 clicks in the span of a day. Now, if though they say it takes me 10 days to deliver 100 clicks, then you're looking at a database that's fairly small. So if they ran the same or similar offer 2 days ago, you may need to wait for a week or two to replenish that and or to have the list sort of re-engage. You know what I mean? Because if I buy a MacBook Pro right now, unless I'm being upsold with another one the moment I'm buying it, like, it's no use to sell me one the next day. So we need to wait for a month, and then I have that craving again, and I can justify to myself with some lame ass excuse why I need another MacBook. So that's good. Now, the other question that you can ask is, do you offer any guarantees? And you see, the thing about this question is that it's going to throw off many of them, because most never offer any guarantees. Some will, like, for example, we do offer a guarantee. We offer an opt-in guarantee on certain cases. We offer a delivery guarantee. We offer a real traffic guarantee. But most solid sellers, especially the fly-by-night sellers, they don't. They just not what they're doing. What they're doing is they're trying to sell you really cheap traffic. They're trying to get you with a price, because the classic beginner mistake is to say, well, I'm brand new. I still haven't made any money with my business. So rather than investing $1 a click, which is expensive, I will rather go with somebody who sells me 30-cent or 50-cent clicks, which is half the price. I'll just test the waters and see what's going on. And if it works, I'll scale and I'll go to buy from the expensive, providers. But this is a mistake, because the cheap providers usually send you the shittiest traffic, and then you get discouraged in the method altogether. It's kind of like saying, my disc slipped, and because I've never been to a chiropractor before and I don't know if the chiropractor can help me, I will go to a really cheap chiropractor in order not to risk a lot of my money. But the thing that's going to happen is a cheap chiropractor is going to, mess up your back even more, and you're going to be left way worse than you started. So obviously that's a stupid example, because anyone who had ever, I don't know if you have, but obviously anyone can easily relate. Anyone who had a disc slip and can't move, they're pretty much just, chained to their couch. 24/7. They need a good chiropractor. Like at that point, you're not
That's
looking
right.
at the price. You're looking at a good chiropractor, not a cheap chiropractor. So
You're looking for someone who can
yeah,
deliver the results.
exactly. Right? Not to
Yeah.
screw you up even more. And I mean, this is a real example. This is a real mistake that my friend made. My best friend's wife, she had some back issues as well, and at one point got so bad that she couldn't work. So she called a friend who owns a flower shop, who's a florist, and either a part-time masseuse or just used to be a masseuse like way back when. And she had this friend perform some massage on her for free. I'm like, why don't you go to a professional? She's like, well, they're doing it for free. I don't want to spend the money. I'm like, yeah, but what if they screw you up? Which they did. I mean, after that massage, she was, I think, on bed rest for 5 days until she got good enough to, like, to start walking again. And then she
Yeah.
got a proper masseuse and some chiropractic help, and now she's back. But my point is that going for the cheapest one is usually the reason why these scammers even exist, because I mean they try to get you with the cheap price. They just dance on your greed glands, as much as they can, because that's just an
Yeah.
easy way to get people to comply. So that's not a question. Do you offer any guarantees? A good question to ask, not necessarily a deal breaker, but definitely something you may want to ask. Now, another question is getting them. It's not really a question, but getting them to confirm in writing when they plan to send out your ad. Because what I had happened to me quite a few times is, well, solar providers promising to send out and never sending out,
Yeah.
right? They say, oh, when is going to go out? Well, next couple of days. A day goes by, 2 days go by, nothing. I reach out to them, they disappear. 3 days later, they reappear. Oh, I'm sorry, I've been stuck in the airport. I've been, my grandma is sick. I've been in the hospital. And they kind of make up all these stupid excuses, which of course aren't even true. And they try to sort of start sending your ad because they're way behind their schedule, because they forgot about it. I don't know why. If you have a written confirmation, and of course, even if you're chatting to them on Facebook and they confirm in writing on Facebook, that still counts as a written confirmation. You can take that to your bank, your credit card company, or PayPal, Payza, whatever, unless of course you're paying in Bitcoin, which then you can't take it to anyone. But
Yeah.
you have confirmation in writing that they promised to deliver the service on a certain date and they failed. If that's the case, it's a completely different ball game, right?
It's very good work. Very good. Some words of advice there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I believe those are 6 questions, and I
Yeah.
can't remember what was the seventh one that I recommended. Maybe I'll forward that to you once we're off the call. You can just post it under the video or something like that, or in the
Sure.
members area. But yeah, these are plenty as far as scaring away the scammers. Oh, another suggestion that you definitely want to execute. Well, this is not something you need to ask, right, from
Yep.
the client, which of course brings me to the last question. Basically, what you want to do, you want to Google their name plus the word solo ad. So if you want to do business with me, then you Google Igor solo ads, right? And then you find feedback. And what you're looking for is not all negative feedback, because all negative means they're shit. Don't work with them. You're not looking for someone who doesn't have any feedback at all, because that means they're brand new and or they're fly-by-night fake profile kind of solo ad. And so if they're brand new, you want to give them some time to kind of get some rep going. And if they're fly-by-night scammers, then obviously they want to deal with them, because they create a fake profile every couple of days. So you want to Google that. You want to find both positive and negative feedback, with hopefully the positive feedback being the dominant feedback. Because I mean,
Sure.
I've been in the industry for 10 years. I don't know any service provider in any space, unless it's a really definite space. Like when we're talking about traffic, the one thing we have to understand, it's really subjective a lot of times. And
Correct,
there's
yeah.
so many variables that lead to a good conversion that often the sole provider can't really control it. All they can do is just give you the leads. So some people with good offers will run some ads, they'll get good results and they're happy, but other people may run to the same provider with the same good list, but with a crappy offer and not convert, and vice versa too. Sometimes it's a great offer and they run it to a bad list, and they're right to blame the list, but at the same time, Again, it can work. There's so many different options here that you can never know for sure. That's why you're looking for mixed feedback, because if you
Yeah.
had both people who are unhappy and people who are very happy, that means you're working with a real list, because a real list doesn't hit every time. A real email database, a real customer database, a real prospect database does not hit every time. Even even the world's biggest direct response publisher, Agora, they launch multi-million-dollar businesses every month, and they're a company that makes collectively over 100 million a month. They launch new offers all the time to their databases, and they only get one or two winners out of 10, right? So there's no
Yeah.
way
Right.
you can run a solo ad and win every time, unless you're like my student and friend, who's now one of my best friends, of course, and he used to be a student, but now he's a marketing guru in his own right, David Deacle, who created his own system, and this guy wins every time. Like, you can run the crappiest traffic to his offer. It's so good. It's such a no-brainer that he just converts. And the worst case, he walks away with 50 to 70% of his money back. That's like the worst case. Good, best case, he makes double, triple the money as he runs it, and it's just incredible. But that's the power of a really crazy funnel, and that's something, for us to chat on a different note. So,
Sure.
like I said, Google their name plus the word solo ed. And that brings me to my last question, which I forgot and I remembered,
Yeah.
and that is, can you show me any feedback from previous customers? Now, if they're a solid provider that wants to establish themselves in the industry, they're going to be collecting testimonials like crazy. In fact, you can even get them to discount your ad if you promise to do a testimonial for them, either video testimonial or text testimonial or a show testimonial with proof screenshots. Like, you can actually get them, like, you can say stuff like, okay, well, you know what? So you're charging 50 cents a click, you're charging 70 cents a click, you're charging $1 a click. Give me a 20% discount, and I promise to shoot you a video testimonial once you're finished the ad, and if the ad is legit and solid. And many of them will say something like, okay. They won't even argue with you, because they're one-man operation trying to build their rep, and it's cool. Again, that doesn't mean that they're bad or anything like that. It just means they want to build a reputation, and it's really hard. I can tell you from experience, it's really hard to get people to shoot testimonials for you. Like, I have hundreds of them at this point, but like, getting people to do it is really, really hard. Asking is hard enough, but
Yeah.
getting them to follow through on it is even harder. So that's that one. The other thing that can happen is they can say, look, I can't give you 20%, but I promise to send you extra 50 clicks for free. Like, buy 200 clicks or buy 300 clicks, and I'll make sure you get at least 350. I'll make sure you get at least 320. Like, so they go the extra mile for you, which is still better than getting the actual deal that they're advertising on their website, if you know what I mean. And so
Yeah.
when you ask them for testimonials, try to make sure these are real testimonials. Maybe you can ask them for contact information from the clients that ran the testimonials. Again, if they're a good solid provider, they will have at least one or two clients that are raving about their traffic, raving, and so they'll either get them to shoot a video about it, or write something in an email, or they will often enough, like I've had this done, right, specifically and strategically, where I have a couple of clients that buy from me every month, obviously. And so one client has been buying from me every month for the last 5 years or 3 years or something like that. So I've not only made a case study out of him, which he was very kind to actually do, but also, if anyone wants to contact him, I put them in touch, and I know that he's gonna just share his honest feedback about working with us, and that will be plenty to get that undecided customer to make a decision whether to not to work with us. So my point is that ask for testimonials and feedback and endorsements from them about their services from other clients, and actually go through the extra mile to find those clients, to get their contact information, and to talk to them about whether or not their experience is true. Because unfortunately, many solid providers will use testimonials that are either not true or are outdated. For example, there's a company out there. They're called HQ Solo. I think they call themselves High Quality Solo Ads, whatever. They use my testimonial which I wrote to them not as a testimonial on Skype 7 or 6 years ago, because I know the owner, and he brags about it as if I endorse and rave about their traffic. Well, that's bullshit. I don't. So if you're ever hitting up HQ solo ads and they do something like that, please know that that's just not true. So that's what I'm saying. Solid providers are not, well, they're kind of like lawyers. Like at some point you just need one and you have to settle for getting one. But many of them are just shady assholes. So you want to make sure, yeah, and I'm saying this with a heavy heart.
Just gotta lay it out there, don't
Yeah, I'm
you?
saying this with a heavy heart
Yeah.
because they give
Yeah.
good solid providers out there a really
Yeah.
bad name. Like my buddy
And I
Danny White.
appreciate that.
Yeah, my buddy Danny White, legit solid provider, but he has to, because he ain't got a rep going. It's really it just kind of he's building. He, like a lot of people, have to come ask me. Like I gave him my permission to, if anyone asks, to give my name, and so people come and ask me, "Do you know Danny White? Is his traffic is good?" So I have to confirm, right? So this, we wouldn't have to do any of that if all solid providers would just do their damn job and deliver good traffic. But unfortunately, that's not the case. So you want to make sure you do your own due diligence, ask these questions, watch for the answers. Now, the one final tip I'm going to give you about the questions, which is really, really important. The one mistake I see people make is they try to drop all the questions in one email or in one message. It's like this: "Hey Igor, can you please let me know the answer to these?" Bam, and they have like a list of a gazillion questions right there. It's like immediately, as a solid provider, especially one that is busy enough to not have to accept any one client, I don't want to work with that person. I mean, that's just a pain. So instead, get a conversation going. "Hey, so-and-so, my name is so-and-so, I'm promoting so-and-so. Great to meet you. Do you mind letting me know if you ever promoted this offer in the past?" "Oh, you did? Cool. When was that?" "Oh, okay, cool. And how long does it take you to deliver 100 clicks?" "Oh, it takes you 10 days. Perfect. Okay, cool. So if you promoted that, 5 days ago, probably going to run a solo in 15 days from now. Cool. No worries, no worries." So, oh, and one more question. "Do you ever run affiliate offers?" "Oh, you do? Okay. Well, can you let me know what was the last offer you ran to your list?" "Oh, that's cool. That looks a lot like mine. And how did it work? Can you show me some results? Do you have some results?" "Oh, you can? Oh, thank you for sending me the screenshot." So you just get a conversation going. And my advice to you is, if you find good solid provider, make friends. Like become friends with that person. You'll get discounts. You'll get perks. You'll get heads up on fresh databases. Like it just pays to be friends with solid providers. Seriously. So I think that's about it. I mean, we dropped a lot, and I really tried to give you guys as much of an accurate, like, do this, don't do that information as I could. But these questions alone will pretty much eliminate the possibility, the 80% of the possibility of you getting scammed with bad traffic.
Yeah, and that's perfect. Listen, all of those things are really important. I think it's just those little things as well that make the difference with any type of business as well. If you're going to follow some simple steps, and I mean, it's not rocket science what you're talking about as well. They're just literal things which people, they may not know what they should be doing. So it's just taking those simple steps just to ensure that you're having that bit of risk reversal to make sure that you're not going down the wrong path. Listen, I know that we obviously are pressed for time a bit as well with you because you've got other things going on as well. But a couple of things I wanted to quickly ask was, what sort of conversions would someone be, or should they be looking for? And I know this can be a bit of an open question, but should they be looking for with a solo ad vendor? Because the other thing you were talking about before is you're talking about cost per click, but I think what people need to be looking at rather than just the cost per click is the end result, and that's obviously conversions. So what's some percentages of what people should be looking for in specific niche of, maybe just even the home business?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So first off, I apologize if I squint because the sun is rising, and we don't get too much sun here in Toronto, but it's just gonna be right in my face. So you're gonna see all my pimples.
You enjoy that some way I can get it then.
Yeah. So the conversions, absolutely. So first off, a healthy opt-in page conversion. Opt-in page being the page that squeezes the email from your prospect should be above 20%. Like the industry average is below 20%. If you're hitting above, that's already good. If you're working with a really engaged database, you're probably going to get above 30. We have some traffic sources that deliver sometimes 80% conversion, right? 80% opt-in rate. But
Well,
that's really unique and rare. And but I wouldn't even like mention it as a general rule. It's more of an exception. So you should be
yeah,
aiming
sure.
20 plus. If you're hitting 30 plus, you can do the happy dance, right? This is good
Yeah.
stuff. Now, as far as sales conversions, now this is not going to sound, I guess, exciting, and I'm hopeful that you recognize at this point that I'm not here to excite you, but just we're here to,
Lay the facts out.
yeah,
Yep.
we're here to tell you how the industry actually works. So the
Yep.
one thing you have to understand about the internet marketing space is that first and foremost, it's direct response marketing. Internet is a media, right? I mean, obviously we'll get to work from home right now. If you can see, you've probably seen people kind of walk. So I'm in a shared office space about 10 minutes away from my home because I don't like working at home. Like, people dream about it. I actually hate it because I feel kind of pressured by the walls and my wife nags me and I can't get any work done. So I get out and I come into this shared office space, and this is my desk. Like, just, I mean, you can take a look around. Like, there's the kitchen, and this is the phone room, the phone booth, whatever. It's just a space, right? And so,
Yeah.
yeah. And so, why did I bring this up? Conversions.
You're just talking to conversions. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, conversion. So direct response is what it's all about, but the internet is the media through which we get it. So in direct response marketing, the one thing no one tells you until you're like several years into direct response marketing, we're here to operate on very low conversions. Here's what I mean by that. When I mail a promotion to my own list, let's just say that list is 10,000 people who either took interest in something I offered in the past or purchased something from me. Now the ratio is probably going to be somewhere around 9,500 prospects and 500 customers. Now why is that? Well, because anytime I send 1,000 visitors to an offer, I will only make up to maybe 5, 7, maybe 10% conversion. It really depends on the offer. So if we're talking about
Yeah.
work from home opportunities, we're talking around 2% conversion, right? So if you send 100 visitors to a sales page that sells an income opportunity, a lot of times you can expect maybe 1 or 2 people to pick it up. Again, depending heavily on the offer, the message to
Yeah.
market match, the offer to list match, and so on and so forth. There are definitely some variables there. It's never a guarantee. So what you need to remember, the reason I'm bringing up this direct response statement or argument, if you will, is because while we do operate on low conversions, and I mean, if you tell people, oh, I convert 2% of my customers, they'll be like, oh, you suck. But no, that's not true, because with 2% conversion, you can still make 6 figures. And many people
Yep.
do. I do, right? So we ran this promotion the other month. I think it was month before last, and we produced just 70 cents per subscriber on our list on that promotion. But having 10,000 subscribers brings us up to a good income. In fact, probably 3 times what most people make in a month working a day job. Now, another promotion I ran was much better, and we made about $2.10 per click. Not just a
Wow.
subscriber,
That's good.
per click, which means I sent about, I think it was 370 clicks to it. So, for each click on average, we produced $2. Again, some very small promotion, but average earning was pretty cool. But again, just $2, you say? That's not enough. Well, that's the thing. It depends on the effort you're putting in. So the thing about driving traffic, and the correct thing about using a system such as rush funnels, for example, is the fact that you get to build your list. So if we were to run traffic into an offer and not capture anyone's email address, okay, then we would lose a lot of our money. We would send 100 visitors to a page, close 2 sales, And that's it. That's all we have. We just have 2 customers, and then we have to really work with those
Yeah.
customers. However, if we run 100 visitors to a squeeze page that squeezes the email first, and then to the sales page, what we're doing is we're squeezing, say, low estimate, 20%. Okay, 20% of the emails. So we got now 20 email addresses, and out of those 20 email addresses, we close the same 2 sales. Now you say, Igor, but wait, you didn't send 100 people to the sales page. Well, the thing about it is that the people who were gonna buy, they opted in, right? So out of those 20, there's probably going to be those 2 that bought in the previous example. So, but now you also have 18 people that you can follow up with through email and close 2 more sales. And so when you
Yeah,
do it,
that's perfect.
right? And when you do it on a scale of not just hundreds of visitors, but thousands of visitors every month, your list will slowly but surely become a database in its own right, allowing you to make money when you email your list. So it's going to be compounding, right? And then your leverage ability will grow because you'll be still sending the same email out, the same effort that you're putting in, but the database will be growing. You're going to be getting better as an email marketer. So my point is that the conversions as far as sale, click to sale or opt-in to sale conversion will always be an insignificant number below 10%. And if you're godlike in your marketing, you're going to get 10%. That's godlike. That's like epic. Okay, but most of the time, if you're average, then you're gonna get way below that, and yet still with those percentages, with the proper funnels, with the proper offers, and with the proper action steps, you will be able to get beyond 6 figures a year.
You're right. And what I love about that is it's keeping it real with those figures, because people think that, I need to be getting, the extreme high conversions, which I mean is great on the front end, but if we're looking about it from a long-term perspective, if you're getting into this game, you should be looking at it from a long-term perspective and going, well, I'm building my list, which is my true asset, and then being able to obviously send offers to that list, provide them with value, and then making the money on the back end. That's where the real money is. And we discussed this in one of our other courses as well, and talking about all the value there as well. But listen, before we do go, I just wanted to ask you as well, how is it that you're different with regards to your business and the solo ads that you guys provide? And I know you did say before that for some offers, you obviously have guarantees in terms of conversions, but I guess what's some other things in the ways that you guys operate that maybe is a bit different to some other people?
Yeah, well, first off, there's since it's the morning, the sun is rising, some people coming in, making coffee. So just in case you hear the noise, that's what it's all about. But the way we're different is really simple. First off, I've been in the game longer than most solo providers out there. In fact, there's only one guy who's been in it longer than I have, and we're friends, and he's legit. His name is Harris. I'm sure you know Harris. Pretty sure you know him from Traffic From Me. But everyone else hasn't been in the game for long enough. In fact, people who've been in the game for 5 years ago are gone because the rules have changed and customers have not patronized them for long enough to make it worth their while. They went and done other things. So as far as being one of the longest standing veterans in the industry, what does that tell you? Well, it tells you that the quality of my leads has been consistent over the years, which is probably the most important criteria. The second thing, it tells you that we take good care of our customers, and I pay seriously, David, I pay ridiculous amounts of money to my customer support. It's the second biggest cash suck in my bottom line after that damn software we're developing right now. So we take really good care of our customers. We provide email customer support, and we oftentimes handle many of the technical aspects of the business for our customers, especially if they're just getting started. The third thing, is that we know what converts. We've mailed it all. We've promoted it all, and trust me, there's just few things that can catch us off guard at this point. So when you're working with us, it's kind of like coming to that good chiropractor that's seen quite a couple of thousand patients at this point and knows where to push for the disc to slip right back in and for you to be able to walk again. And last but not least, since a couple of years ago, And I'm looking there because it's just snowing so beautifully right now. The sun is rising, and the snow is kind of going like this. It's just amazing. I really love snow, man. Trust me. I moved to Toronto.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, I haven't seen it for 18 years, so I'm really loving it. Um,
So you're
so
ready? You're ready to hit the snow straight after the call, eh?
absolutely, absolutely. So the last but not least is for the last couple of years we've been not developing but tapping a new traffic source where we're getting leads that are quote unquote virgin, people that are in the game of making money from home but they're just getting started, people that are the perfect fit for online income opportunities, for business opportunities, for programs that teach you how to work from home, how to be your own boss, and they're right at that journey where they're receptive to offers. They haven't been beaten to death. And if you're someone who is just getting started and you still feel that you're not qualified to sell, make money online stuff to other people because you're not making money online yourself and stuff like that, because I've went through that stage myself, then these are the good prospects to talk to and to market to. Well, not, you don't have to physically talk to anyone, but to promote to, because they
Yeah.
are even newer to the game than you are. In other words, they are going to be looking at you and seeing what you know, and they'd be thinking you're the guru because you know just a little bit more than they do. So as long as you keep on improving, right, you're going to stay ahead of the curve. So these leads, they're the ones that will probably been responsible for us delivering all these results for the last couple of years, which really improved. Like what I've told you about the 80% opt-in rate. Again, it's not a guarantee, but that's where it's coming from. It's like they're
Yeah.
that aggressive, which for me as a marketer, that's all I want to hear about a list.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Excellent. Very good. Listen, I don't want to take up too much more of your time here. I certainly do obviously appreciate the time you've had on here. I should say to everyone, actually, we did go to do this call previously and I completely screwed it up. So Igor's been very gracious to obviously get this call done, which I'm extremely thankful for. But we are going to pretty much wrap it up. Is there any other things that you did want to say, though? I sort of did want to cut you short. If you have any other closing thoughts today.
Well, no, I think we shared quite a few good things. Just to sum up, we gave you some questions to ask with solar providers to make sure you're working with a legit solar provider.
Yep.
We spoke about conversions. We spoke about how solids are different from other traffic sources and why, in our opinion, they're preferred getting started method. We spoke about the journey, how everyone goes through this overwhelm stage for the first couple of years, but how there are ways to overcome it, how it's not going to be there forever, so you're not going to feel that way forever. And that's pretty much it, besides perhaps letting you guys know where you can get traffic if you want to work with us. So you can
Yeah, for
go
sure.
to you can go to igorsolids.com/rush funnels. If you go there, we will know you're coming as a result of watching this call. Okay, so we're going to give you a 10% over delivery. So if you order 200 clicks, you'll get 220. If you order 500
Perfect.
clicks, you'll get 550. No extra charge because you're a member of Rush Funnels, because you're friends with David, and because you took the time to sit down and watch the call and then listen to all this stuff. Because trust me, I don't take any of this for granted. People have access to tremendous amounts of information today. They're so overwhelmed and they're so as a result, for some reason, they get complacent and they don't take the minimum proper steps required to succeed. So if you watched this call, you took notes, you recognized, the tips and tricks and the wisdom we shared today, I'm happy to reward you with some extra traffic for free. I mean, I'm totally down for that.
Yeah. Oh, thank you very much for the offer there as well. That's certainly something I'm sure anyone would appreciate. If you're watching the call now as well, we're going to keep it as short as possible now, just keep it a wrap. But what I do want to say is, as Igor has said, he's given you all the tips and tricks that you need now as well to get informed really about making the right decisions and going off and getting some traffic to your funnel. So the main thing here is actually just taking action, going and doing it. So whether that's obviously getting in touch with Igor and his team or someone else, we've got other solo ad providers there as well. That's something or a traffic source, should I say, that I recommend that you get started with, especially if you're new, because as we were discussing, that's got the least barrier of entry. It's all about that speed of implementation, and you start to get some results. And they're the things that when you start to get those results, you sort of go, oh wow, look, this whole concept, it's the proof of concept that says, hey, this is actually working. It's working for me. So that gives you then the motivation, but also the encouragement to keep on going. So once again, listen, thanks very much for your time, Igor. I really do appreciate it. If you guys have got any other further questions, which you probably don't, but if you do, look, hit us at support at Rush Funnels. So you know where to go within the members area at the support page there. You can obviously put a question in there, but look, if you do need to as well, go over this video, watch it again. He shared lots of great pearls of wisdom there from Igor, so thanks once again. But other than that, it's a wrap from me. Thanks again, Igor. Have fun out on the slopes. Do you get out on a snowboard, or what do you?
Oh no, dude, my back is too bad for that. If I fall down, I break. So I'm staying away from that. But I love having sipping on espresso in a coffee shop, looking at the snow, how it sort of gently falls around, kind of twists and turns. It's like a dance. I don't know. It's just I really
enjoy nature.
Yeah, it makes me feel really warm inside.
You go enjoy your day, and thanks once again, and I'll talk to you soon. Hey, thanks very much, guys. This call's a wrap.